I'm Cavin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer based in San Diego. Today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting topic that is sort of based around this myth that people will sometimes think a photographer charges $4,000 for an 8-hour package. They make that $4,000 divided by 8 hours per hour. No, that is not the case. I definitely wish that were, but there's so much more work that goes into each couple that we photograph that people don't even realize. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to run through all of the different time that I spend with each couple and let you guys know on average the amount of hours that I spend working on each wedding. So I have my handy little list here. The first kind of step that I take with each couple is their initial inquiry to their booking. And this takes me anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. If they're meeting me in person, that is going to take a little bit longer. Phone calls are typically shorter. They save a bit more time. But this hour and a half to 2 hours is for calls, emails, the contract, maybe a meeting, thank you note, all of those different steps that I take when booking somebody. And if they have more questions during that initial process, that's more time I spend emailing. So we're already at about 2 hours here. Now the next one is the engagement session. And this is something that takes me anywhere from 5.5 to 8 hours for researching locations, prepping for the session, sending them their questionnaire, driving to it. It could be anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, just depending on where they want to do. Shoot that engagement session, send off my film, download the digital photos, cull the film and the digital photos, edit that, and then I'm going to be delivering that to the couple, blogging, delivering to the vendors, all of those sorts of things, backing it up, saving it to different hard drives. All of these things take a lot of time when they're all put together. The next thing is wedding planning. So planning for the wedding itself and then the wedding day. So that typically is anywhere from 21 to 29 and a half hours. Now this is for questionnaires, emails, working on the timeline, which can sometimes take a lot of time. I'm emailing the bride, I'm emailing the planner, everybody's communicating. There is typically a lot going on. I will send a lot of really helpful emails to my bride a couple of months before the wedding. Everything that I do to plan for the wedding, as well as prepping my gear, prepping my team, traveling to the wedding itself, shooting the 8-hour wedding, then I'm shipping out my film, and then I'm downloading the digital photos, and then I'm culling both sets of those images, I'm editing, I'm blogging, I'm sending to the clients, sending to the vendors, and I'm sometimes sending off for publication, like to Style Me Pretty or Martha Stewart Weddings, something like that. So that can take a really long amount of time. Editing is a huge bulk of it. Also the blogging, the sending to vendors, exporting for the clients, all of these things take time. So you can already see that so much of the work that I do is not at the wedding day itself. The client usually does not see all of the behind the scenes work that goes on, which is where the bulk of our time really is. Now, after the wedding, if they are having an album, this usually takes me anywhere from 2 to 3.5 hours to choose the images, design the draft, send to the client for approval, revise the album if needed, and then send for the second approval, and then the rare third revision and approval. And then I have to do the photoshopping of different distracting elements in the final photos for the album. That is something that I include. And then I will send that to my lab, receive it, package it up, deliver it to the client. So these things can take time. It's really short if the client is decisive and they love my first draft. That's great. That might even sometimes be under 2 hours, but these things do take time, and the longer my clients take to answer me or the more back and forth there is, the more time I am spending with them. So adding all of these things up, I am spending anywhere from 30 to 43 hours per couple. I would estimate it's probably around 40 on average. So it's a very long amount of time. So definitely something to keep in mind. Like, we're working really hard for you guys behind the scenes. There's so much that goes on that does not include holding my camera on the wedding day or during the engagement session. There's so much planning, so much emailing, creating different things, helping out the couple, giving advice, editing. everything that happens that is not me on the wedding day is a lot of time. And that's time I'm happy to spend. I love to go above and beyond for my clients, so I'm happy to spend all this time. But if you guys are wondering why there's such a big range, this can really vary based on sort of the decisiveness of the client. Again, the location, so how far I'm traveling, logistics of the wedding, all sorts of complicated things can come up with a wedding that we have to plan more for, or things that come up on the day. How many guests they have, how many members in their bridal party, how big their family is. So that if they have a large amount of guests and bridal party and family, I'm shooting more photos. So that's more photos that I'm shooting, more photos that I'm culling and editing and delivering. So everything really is kind of very dependent on the logistics of the wedding itself, but typically I am spending 40 hours for a couple. So it's not just 8 hours that a couple is paying me for, it's for like 40 hours. So it's definitely something that I find very interesting. I will have people think that I just only work for like 10 hours for a whole wedding, and it is not the case. I wish, but it is simply not the case right now. So just something to keep in mind, something I find very interesting. For planners, it's gonna be even more hours, which makes sense because they're doing the bulk of your planning. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.